Cherry here on Saturday, Sacramento tournament on the Delta in California. Going around the expo, we're going to talk to a few guys about the mileage they ran, the gas they used, and anything that's interesting that happened on the whole trip down. So let's come over here and talk to Kevin Hawk and Josh Bertrand. Here we are, we got Kevin and Josh. Tell us a little bit about your trip, how far you ran, gas you used, anything weird that might have happened.
Yeah, the Delta was a crazy tournament this week because we had to make long runs. I mean, a lot of guys were running anywhere from an hour to 2 hours one way, depending on where they were fishing. Me personally, I ran an hour and 25 minutes each way to the South McCullamy, burned 50 gallons of gas round trip. So it made for a tight tournament in the fact that we had to find fish and fish effectively for 5 hours and catch those fish. And unfortunately for me, it didn't work out too good, but we got next event coming up in Havasu, so I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Now, are you Josh?
Yeah, you know, the run was an interesting one because not only did we use a lot of gas, I probably burned about the same amount as Kevin, probably 50, 55 gallons a day. About a
so
gallon.
You were refueling? You fuel back up?
You know what? My boat holds a 65-gallon tank, so it has a 65-gallon tank.
Okay.
I didn't have to fuel up, so that was nice. But you know, one of the crazy things is the abuse that we put these motors through. You know, if we went out and ran our truck engines at 6,000 RPMs for an hour and a half straight, I don't know what would happen. It probably wouldn't be good. Amazing the durability that these motors have. But the other crazy thing was, you know, what it does on your body. You know, we were just talking, you know, usually you've got a cramped up calf, a numb foot, numb hands, you know, and even your ears are just totally ringing when you stop. So it's not only a lot on your boat, but it's a lot on your body.
All right, good. Well, there you have it. From the Delta. Interesting ride. All right, we're here. We got Cliff, the Cajun Baby Crochet. How many miles did you run? What was interesting about the run? How much gas did you go through?
44 gallons. I don't know how far I ran. There's nothing interesting. It was kind of boring.
What about your hands and your ears for a long ride? Anything bother you?
No, day one I wore a cover, you know, buff type thing. Day two I wore earplugs. It was all good. The only thing I got was my forehead. You notice my forehead was more burnt than normally. Normally, you know, you run for 20 minutes or so, and then it's covered up. This week it was uncovered.
Gotcha. Now going down, did you take the shortcut or did you take the idle zones?
I took the shortcut.
Did you know about the shortcut before we came?
Yeah, I had somebody take care of it.
So you got the information. Another guy got the information, took the shortcut. Here we go. Okay, we got Mike McClellan here. Now, he is known for making long runs. At the Sabine, he made a tremendous long run all the way to Houston. Everybody made long runs this week. Let's see what he did. Now, how far was your run down through the Delta and how much gas you burned?
The run here at the Delta was really a walk in the park. I mean, it was like a little Sunday afternoon drive for me. I mean, I was running like 52 miles here, and when you compare 52 to 114 one way, it really wasn't much of a run in my opinion. Everybody was whining and belly aching about how long this run was and how short our fishing time was going to be. But in all honesty, I mean, I felt like I had a long day compared to the Sabine River.
So at Sabine, you averaged how many hours of fishing?
Oh, I really, with the fog delays, I mean, the first day I got to fish for an hour and 45 minutes. The second day I got to fish for like 2 hours. The third day, I think the best day I had at the Sabine River was 3 hours of fishing. So, you know, here I got to fish 6.5 hours and felt like I had all day. I mean, I fished at a real good pace, just made it through the day. I just didn't catch them.
Now, were you one of the guys that were having to refill to come back?
You know, the first day I refilled because I actually ran a little farther. The first day my total run was probably about 68 miles. Yesterday I chose to just stay in one specific area. It was about 59 miles, and I just stayed in one area, basically fished the break all day yesterday, and caught one big one, which kind of salvaged my day, and it salvaged my points for the event because I was in like 101 the first day. So I moved all the way to 79th. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it was like 20 points when it came to Angler of the Year. So it was a big day for me yesterday just to catch what I caught. But yesterday I was gonna stop and get fuel, but when I got to the fuel dock, everybody's there. I thought, you know, surely they're gonna be milling in and out, but it was like 4 boats tied up to the fuel dock, and I'm like, well, I'll run up to the next fuel dock. Well, when I got up to the next fuel dock, there were 3 locals there, and I'm looking at my gauge and I'm thinking about the Sabine run, and I'm thinking, you know, I think I can make it. So I just peeled it back a little bit. I pulled back on the throttle, ran that Mercury about 5,600 RPM. Stratus 201 was still running 69, 70 mile an hour, and I made it back with, I used 44.9 gallons of fuel, and my boat is supposed to be rated at 46, so I made it back on fumes.
So perfect. And last question: did you see any seals throw fish around?
I did see seals throwing fish around, but I don't know what species of fish they were. I don't know. They were, 5, 6, 7 pound range, so they could have been bass. But yeah, I definitely saw some seals throwing some fish around.
All right, Mike. Thanks.
You betcha, man.
All right, here we are. Marty Robinson, working the expo just like me. Didn't quite make it. Now tell us, how long was your ride? How much gas do you use? And anything interesting happened along the way?
Well, yeah, I used about, I don't know, probably $800 worth of gas a day, I think. I think I went back halfway back to South Carolina, time I got to where I was fishing at. But no, really, I did have a little problem the first day when I got maybe 2 or 3 minutes from my first spot. I noticed I felt a little something change in my motor, and I told my partner, I said something don't feel right. And then as I sat down off pad, the motor was vibrating a lot. I said, man, I think I slung an ear off my prop. I trimmed the motor up, sure enough, I threw an ear off my prop. And what I heard is when it hit the bottom of my foot. And so I did have a spare prop. I changed my spare prop, and we was good to go. So that's just some of the few things you run into when you're running, an hour and 45 minutes to your first fishing location.
Good. You see any seals throw any fish around?
Yeah, I actually did. Either the first day or the second day, I ran in the turn right there on the main river, and I seen a seal come up. And I probably was only 20 foot from him when I run by, and I seen him slinging something around. And it was a striper, about 15 pound, I guess, he had found. So he was eating good that day.
All right. Thanks, Marty.
Yeah, man.
All right, we're here with Brett Hite. You know the Delta pretty well, right?
I thought I did.
Okay. Well, I don't know it. Didn't have a lot of experience here. I'm working the expo just like you, so things didn't go according to plan. But here's the question today we're asking everyone. How long did you run? I know we talked yesterday, you went a pretty good long ways. How long was your run, and how much gas do you think you burned these 2 days?
Yesterday, on the second day, I believe my Mercury Smartcraft gauge said I burned 61 gallons. And to the farthest, if I calculated it all, it's probably about an hour and 45 minutes one way to the farthest point that I went.
So that was one way to your first cast?
Well, I kind of stopped on the way, but I mean, from the way I went as far. I kind of started here and then worked my way as far as I went, and then drove all the way back. So, it's a good, probably almost close to 2 hours.
Now, the long run bother your hands, elbows, ears, head, sunburn, anything?
Now I got a little sunburn up here on the receding hairline, but that's about all. I mean, the wind in your ears probably messes you up worse than anything.
Okay, and did you witness any sea lions chunking fish around? Everybody said they seen them catching stripers and chunking them left and right.
I saw more sea lions in the Delta this year than I've ever seen, and I don't know whether that's because of the saltwater intrusion coming up because of the droughts, but man, there's a ton of big sea lions out there. And what's funny is you'll see them like with their flipper up, like they're just like I thought it was a big old tree floating down the river, and it's big old sea lion sunning himself, just catching some California rays.
Kind of looks like Project swimming in the pool.
Yeah, similar. Yeah, real similar. Sea lion might look a little prettier though.
Thanks, Brett. We appreciate it.
Say, buddy.
Saturday here, California Delta. We're wrapping it up at the expo. We talked to the guys. We know how much gas they burn, how far they ride, just to try to catch a bass. The sea lion here can catch stripers like no other, and quite possibly look a lot like Jacob Porosnik. Hank Cherry from Sacramento Delta.